Hey everyone, the team and I just got back from seeing Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. For this review though, I'm just going to be giving my review as the rest of the team are busy with some other projects we've got coming. Now, the eighth installment into the Star Wars series is set after the rise of the Empire in Episode 3 and before, literally right before the beginning of Episode 4, one of the greatest sagas ever told. This film definitely showed us that Star Wars has now learnt how to not make a shit prequel and actually make a great prequel, as the film has everything you want in a Star Wars film. The story follows our hero, Jyn Erso, fighting with the rebellion to steal plans to the Death Star to use a weakness that was installed by her father, Galen Erso, the architect of this ship, to blow up the planet destroyer. This holds strong as a simple yet compelling plot that starts off slow and almost boring in the first act, but activates its hyperdrive in its second and doesn't slow down, giving us some awesome and amazing action sequences, where they be dogfights in space or on ground large-scale warfare. I know, right? Actual wars in Star Wars. And not counting that pissy attempt that George Lucas tried in Attack of the Clones for a whole 3 seconds on Geonosis. Some breathtaking cinematography done exceptionally well by director Gareth Edwards, who his only real big budget film has been the mediocre reboot of the Godzilla franchise in 2014. So it's good to see that he has learned something from his past mistakes. And lastly, the acting, that was great from basically everyone across the board, except for that of Forrest Whitaker as Saw Gerrera, as sometimes felt really over exaggerated and unnecessarily dark at times. On the other hand, I have to give praise to Alan Tudyk for his hilarious performance as the Imperial droid programmed good as K2SO, who gave just the right amount of humor at just the right time to remind you that movies are still legally Disney films, but in almost a good way, which is a line I never thought I'd say. Now, from a few reviews I've heard so far, a lot of people are complaining that there wasn't enough Darth Vader in the film. To them, I say plain and simply, fuck off. He has a very minor role in the film, which makes a lot of sense due to the fact he's probably busy killing Jedi or something. Now take note, Suicide Squad. In the trailers for Rogue One, we got tiny slithers of Darth Vader, and we were made to believe he was a minor role, but not really featuring him heavily in the advertisements and posters, unlike what Squad did with everyone's favourite clown Prince of Crime. They had definitely took a lesson from Squad and only really showed us that he would be in the film, which made sense since the scenes he was in were very excited and downright awesome as he stole the show every time. There was one scene in particular that was better than basically anything that little bitch Anakin did, and any of the prequels, which went for a whole 30 seconds and gave me and everyone in the cinema chills, which we'll go over in the spoiler section. This part of the review, I'm going to go roughly over the spoilers, and there are a lot for this film, so I definitely recommend you seeing this before watching this part of the video. The second you hear that there's going to be a prequel for any series, whether it be Star Wars or anything else, you know that most of the major characters are either going to die or disappear by the end of it. Well, that's exactly what happened here. A lot of people die. Lots. Which I have to say is very brave for Disney to do, as they seem to not be able to do that in their Marvel Cinematic Universe. Although some of our main heroes die, they do die proudly, and it just further pushes how unforgiving and truly evil the Empire is. Speaking of how evil the Empire can get to see two major examples through the concentrated firing of the Death Star. First, on the city that was built around the ruins of a Jedi temple that you see in the trailer on the planet Jeddah, to destroy Saw Gerrera's rebellion insurgency, which succeeds and kills him and his entire underground base. We also get to see this again with the weapon being used on the Empire's military database on Scarif, the water and jungle planet in the trailer, that destroys everyone and everything, whether it be Empire or Alliance, in a swift blow. The second example we get to see is of Darth Vader mowing through a hallway of rebel soldiers, using his force abilities to break his opponent's necks or his blood-red lightsaber to slice and demolish his way through them all with precision accuracy and a terrifying, almost horror vibe, as it was all in the pitch black and the only light source is Lord Vader's weapon, which would disappear when thrust into his enemies and engulf the room into darkness again and again as he made his way through the corridor. The film basically ends where the fourth film picks up with the data of the blueprints of the Death Star being given to Princess Leia, while being chased by Darth Vader and his battalion of stormtroopers. With the recent passing of Carrie Fisher, now solidifies the ending even more and makes it more impactful, which is Princess Leia looking towards the stars, explaining to a trooper what the drive is with one simple word: hope. really drives forward is that we as Star Wars fans all have, as this series is skyrocketing upwards, and hopefully this year's Episode 8 will follow this trend. This film serves as a great glimpse to the Star Wars series as a depth look at the extended universe outside of the Skywalker story. This film is in third place overall in all Star Wars films, right behind The Force Awakens in second place and The Empire Strikes Back being first. And for that, I am giving Rogue One an 8.2 out of 10. I'm Mossy, and this is Magnanimous.